So now that the official teaser trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine has been out for a couple days and has officially become the highest viewed 24-hour movie trailer of all time, which in its own right is completely insane and shows that Marvel is back and bigger than ever, I thought we would take a second look at the trailer and go frame by frame and break down everything in this thing. So we're gonna do just that, guys. Hit that subscribe button, join us on the road to 1,000 subs. We're getting so close. Leave a comment on this video of what you're most excited for. I read every single one and I most likely will respond. With that out of the way, let's get into the breakdown. So this trailer opens up with a birthday cake. It's Wade's birthday, and on the birthday cake we see a picture of all the heroes returning from Deadpool 2. Now at the end of Deadpool 2, Deadpool goes back in time to fix all of the things that had happened in that movie, such as saving Vanessa and his friends, among other things. So that explains why they are here in this trailer and explains maybe why the TVA also makes an appearance and takes Wade from his world. We see Wade supporting a wig and it looks disgusting in my opinion. We also get looks at Shatterstar, Dopinder, and Colossus, along with Yukio and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. All of these are returning characters from the previous Deadpool movies. Blind Owl and Vanessa are also there, and so is a character from the first Deadpool movie in the bar scene. Wade seems to be going through a tough time, and we get quick flashes of a time with him and Vanessa where maybe the child that they were going to have is no longer alive. Either that or Wade and Vanessa are going to split up, because in this trailer Vanessa calls Wade buddy instead of baby or honey or any other pet name. Wade blows out his birthday candles and then the TVA knocks on his door. The TVA look a lot different here in this shot than they do in the previous seasons of Loki. Maybe this is because Loki is now in charge and taking control of the TVA and the timeline, so they got upgrades with their armor. And in my opinion, it looks great. Wade cracks a hilarious Disney joke at the TVA and looks at the audience, breaking the fourth wall. I'm so glad they're doing more of this, and especially doing jokes with Disney now owning the rights to the Fox characters. So Disney doing rated R things and being called out in its own movie is super meta, super cool, and I hope there's tons of it in the film. They put him through a time door and we end up at the TVA. We see the staples and glue that was kind of holding down his toupee or his wig, and again, just super gross. We meet this new character, a TVA agent apparently known as Paradox. Now this character did, I think, make one appearance in Marvel Comics in the past, but wasn't really a super big role, meaning they're probably going to give this character a much bigger role in the MCU. We get a brief glimpse into the hallways of the TVA, showing the sacred timeline or timelines now on the back wall, and a lot of people have pointed out that there is a person in this frame that looks like Victor Timely, but it's probably not. It's almost certainly not with the events of Loki Season 2, unless this takes place before Loki Season 2, which I don't think it does. We then cut to, I think, a flashback of Wade looking at his Deadpool costume in a locker while he is currently working a job at, I think, a car retail place. Deadpool kind of having a midlife crisis, realizing he left this old world behind and he's a completely different person now than he was. We then see Deadpool in a frozen forest, and a lot of people, myself included, think that this is taking place during the events of the beginning of Age of Ultron, and there's more reasons for this later on. Deadpool goes through the same thing that Loki did at the beginning of the first season of his show, viewing the MCU in terms of timeline, in terms of characters, in terms of movies. It's very strange, very cool, and we see the events of Thor Ragnarok as well as Age of Ultron. These two movies are very important, and again, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on, but this now is the second reference of a potential location of Age of Ultron. And we can confirm that all of us are now a part of the MCU, as we can see Ryan Reynolds wearing a Deadpool mask, accepting an award in one of the TV screens, which was actually an award actually accepted in real life. Super meta, very cool. They must have had to add this very recently, but very cool nonetheless. Wade sees Captain America on the TV screen and instantly gives him a salute. Again, can't wait for all of this humor in this movie. We then are taken to the Void, I believe. This is a vast wasteland that was seen in Loki Season 1 and at the very end with Renslayer in Loki Season 2. We see various vehicles, and some of these have been revealed in set photos, but I'm not going to go into that because I think it goes too much into spoiler territory in terms of what characters may show up in this film. But needless to say, the vehicles are very interesting and very cool. We then get a glimpse of someone from the back, a bald person, potentially a woman, and if the rumors are true, this could potentially be the sister of Charles Xavier, the main villain of this movie. And personally, I don't think there's going to be a main villain that is controlling everything in this film. I think this film is going to have a weird antagonist in the terms of time, in terms of getting your friends back together. I don't think that a singular person is going to be the main driving force for these characters in this film. But if this is the case where Charles Xavier does have a twin sister in an alternate universe, this would be a great villain to set up, because the main idea of this film is bridging the gap between the Fox universe and the MCU Marvel universe. We then get a shot of Deadpool sitting in a bone jaw sort of bed. And if you're a huge Marvel fan, you know that this is not the first time we've seen this. We actually got to see this before in Thor Ragnarok with the Hulk. Calling back again to those TV screens that we saw at the beginning of the trailer, we can put two and two together that we've seen scenes from both Age of Ultron and Thor Ragnarok twice. So maybe Deadpool is going to be visiting different movies from the MCU and doing things, saving people or changing the past to create a better future or something, doing something for the TVA, similar to the events of Endgame with our main heroes, our main Avengers. We then get an awesome shot in which I believe may be Madripoor, where we see a person in a white suit with the wing-tipped hair. This is definitely Wolverine, and this is definitely the Patch version of Wolverine. Patch is an alias that Logan used and wore an eye patch in a white suit. This has got to be him. I'm not sure if this is going to be Hugh Jackman playing Patch, but there are rumors that this could potentially be the main MCU version of Wolverine that we haven't yet met. Deadpool then calls himself Marvel Jesus, and this is great because he's kind of being the savior of the MCU, both literally and metaphorically, with superhero films kind of being on the decline but rising again, and also Deadpool having to save the actual multiverse. In the comics, there is a story called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, but what if they flip it on its head and do Deadpool Saves the Marvel Universe in this Deadpool and Wolverine story? We then get an awesome suit-up sequence, which is very comical and very refreshing, because I can't remember the last time we got a suit-up sequence in a Marvel movie. I'm probably just drawing a blank, don't quote me on it, but it's been a while. The next shot is of Deadpool riding up in an elevator, and I think this is still at the TVA, as well as that suit-up sequence. I think they both take place at the TVA, and they're going to send him out on a mission, possibly to the Void. We are then transported back to that frozen forest where Deadpool can be seen taking out maybe TVA agents or maybe a rival gang or a mysterious force that we haven't yet met, but I can't really tell who these guys are just yet. We get an awesome shot of Deadpool reloading his guns in front of the 20th Century Fox studio logo, which is super meta. As we know, Disney has the rights to all of these characters and their films now, so 20th Century Fox doesn't technically exist, it's just 20th Century Studios now. I just wonder how they're going to call this out in the film, if they're even going to verbally acknowledge it, but knowing Deadpool, they probably are. Then we get the return of Alioth. Now, we briefly saw Alioth at the very end of Loki Season 2, kind of recruiting or meeting Ravonna Renslayer in the Void, so this definitely takes place in the Void, but we see all of these different vehicles, all these different machines, and all these different groups of people, and Alioth is taking these people out. Deadpool is freaking out and drops the first F-bomb in a Marvel trailer, a Marvel Studios trailer owned by Disney. It's just mind-blowing. I love it. Deadpool smashes through a car window and fixes his wrist just by flicking it. Again, that body horror that Deadpool is kind of known for is back in full effect. And then we see this mercenary. A lot of people are saying this is Dr. Doom, but it's definitely not Dr. Doom. This is just a Mad Max-esque style mercenary soldier, and we don't really get to meet the leaders of all of these groups or the big group if it's just one, but we do get to meet one of them. We also see Deadpool shooting Uzi guns. Now, this is very interesting in an otherwise kind of plain scene, because if you look at the gloves, these are completely different than the gloves that Deadpool is wearing in this new outfit. A lot of people suggesting that this is Lady Deadpool, going to be played by Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' wife, which would be awesome. We then get a very great shot of Deadpool just being Deadpool, sitting in a car, posed perfectly with blood everywhere, very in character. Glad they're not holding back. And then we get our first official mutant cameo, and this is Pyro from X-Men 2. Pyro's main powers are, of course, the power of fire, and if you haven't gone and seen the X-Men movies, now is the perfect time, because I feel like they're going to reference at least most of them in this upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Pyro was kind of a troubled kid who was growing up in Xavier's school, but kind of changed and went with the Brotherhood at the very end. And those first two X-Men movies are great. I actually love them a lot. And you should also watch X-Men First Class and Days of Future Past. Those are great as well. And then, of course, Logan. We then get a callback to the first Deadpool movie where Deadpool sticks his hand up telling people to stop firing. He does the same thing here in the frozen forest. We then cut to Deadpool getting slammed through something, hitting the 20th Century Fox logo, and then we get the big reveal of the trailer. Deadpool is lying flat on the ground in the Void, and next to him we see not only a comic book, but a bottle. This bottle is the drink that was given to Stan Lee in the Incredible Hulk movie that was poisoned with the blood. So why is that here? I have no idea, but more importantly, the comic underneath this bottle is a Secret Wars comic. This specific issue ties in the Beyonder and God Emperor Dr. Doom. So is this a reference? Is this a tease? Is this a setup, or is it just a fun Easter egg? It's huge because we know Secret Wars is coming, and I don't think that this is for nothing. Remember, this is the Void, so anything can happen. We can get even real references from our real world with the 20th Century Fox logo, comic books, and in fact, we've seen comic books in the Marvel Universe before. In Logan, there are X-Men comic books, even though Logan exists in that universe. So I hope they explain it. I hope it's not just a tease for the trailer. I hope it's actually in the film. Nonetheless, very, very cool. We then see a shadow of a figure stand over Wade Wilson and rip out the claws. This is Wolverine. Now, while we don't get a full front shot of Wolverine, we do see him for a brief second sporting the astonishing X-Men outfit with the yellow and blue. We have never officially seen this costume before. We have seen set photos where Hugh Jackman is wearing it and it looks incredible, but to actually get this suit in live action finally after all of these years, over 20 years, is just so awesome. There was another teaser trailer that was released during the Super Bowl that gives a brief kind of blurred look at Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but nothing that's official, you know, HD quality where we can just see him. And that's pretty much it for the Deadpool trailer. There is a lot in here, but I feel like at the same time, they're keeping a lot hidden. Down in the comments, let me know what you guys thought about this trailer and tell me if I missed anything, for one. And two, what are you most excited for Deadpool and Wolverine? I can't believe that's an official title for an MCU movie when we're just now getting introduced to the mutants. Having all these X-Men movies in the past, but now connecting it to the MCU is just crazy. So thank you guys so much for watching. It means so much. Hit that subscribe button and join us on the road to 1,000 subs, and I will see you all very soon.